Hi, my name is Dave. This is my Carrera track. It's my home track. I've been into Carrera for about 10 years. What this video is going to be strictly about the fuel and the pit lane function. There's a lot of new people coming on that do not have it. They may have some questions about it. So I'm going to explain first the control unit and then getting into the pit lane function. So what you have here, this is your standard control unit that comes in all Carrera digitals. You'll see the fuel function right here. There's three settings. There's an off, an on, and a reel. Now when you flip it to on, what that's going to do is with the pit, with your fuel, the car will function normally. Nothing will change on the characteristics of the car, whether the car is getting close to empty or full. So when you flip it to reel all the way over, what that does is it totally changes the characteristics of the car. When the car is full, naturally the car is heavier, so the car is slower to accelerate, and it also affects the braking. Since it's a heavier car, it's going to take a little longer to slow down. When the car gets close to empty, since the car is lighter, the car is actually going to be faster and it's going to brake better. So it's kind of like there's a slight difference, so there will be a driving difference experience between the two. So that's all there is with the control unit itself as far as the fuel goes. Now what you have here, when you buy a pit lane, it's going to have actually three sections. It's going to have your entrance, the fuel sensor itself, and then there's going to have an exit. I don't have the exit because it's actually incorporated into my track up there, but just for this purposes. So what we're going to do here, we're going to talk about the entrance first. Now what I have over here, I'm actually using a normal lane changer to get into my pit lane here. This is not really recommended, and I'll tell you the difference. The pit lane computer chip in here will not allow ghost cars to enter the pit lane. The standard lane changer will allow ghost cars to enter, and you do not want ghost cars in there, but I very rarely run with ghost cars, and plus the curve on this is a lot more gentle than this one, so I can actually carry more speed. But that's the difference between the two lane changers. This is strictly for the pit. It will not allow ghost cars to come in. So the other function here, this is your fuel. There's a little sensor in here that tells the car on the computer when to enter, or excuse me, when the car is in the pit lane. So what happens up here, I happen to use the driver's displays. This is what it'll look like when the car is full, and as you're actually driving the car, the fuel gauge will actually come down. Whether you're running the driver's displays or computer or Carrera app, you'll always have a fuel gauge up here also. You do not need the driver's displays if you're running the app or computer. I just happen to prefer them because my fuel is over here. All I gotta do is glance up here when I'm doing it. So when you cross the sensor, my sensor on the track is right here. So what happens is when the car crosses the sensor, you can stop anywhere in the pit lane and it will refuel the car. Now one thing they don't tell you in the brochures is you can't come in here at full speed. The car will not fuel if your throttle is positioned at full. We found that out by trial and error because it was a couple times the car would not fuel. Turns out, for me anyway, I just kind of got in the habit of I don't go any further than halfway on the controller, then the car will fuel. Now what's going to happen here is when the car comes across the sensor,
please into the pit.
This is flashing for me here, and it's also flashing up here. This will be on your Carrera app or the computer. So what you want to do is you want to hold your lane change button down, and you'll see this starting to climb. And the same thing with here. It goes until it stops flashing. Now you're full. And the same thing here. It's full. Then you can pull out and onto the track. That's really it. I don't have anything else. The Carrera app, like I said, or what this is here, this is Bruce Yingling software. I suppose if I had a computer monitor here, it would solve the issue to where you don't need these. Like I said, this is just convenient for me because when I'm fueling here, all I got to do is look right above it to see the fuel. But I suppose if I had a monitor there, it would do away with these. So like I said, this is just a matter of choice for me. I've had these since I first started getting into it before I actually got into the computer software. So that's it. I hope it somewhat illuminates the mystery or any questions you might have had with the pit lane. Just right about.